Hi everybody, I have a semi-serious topic to talk about today. We're talking about the cost of living and whether it is cheap to live in the Philippines. I know that I have a lot of expat friends that I have met here and people in the States that are thinking about coming here. And the people who are thinking about coming here always go, wow, it's so cheap. It's really inexpensive to live in the Philippines. And I have to say yes and no on that topic. So, if you come here and you have American money and your income is coming from the United States, you have a retirement, you have a pension, you have some sort of a positive income that is not a peso based income, then yes, it is inexpensive to live in the Philippines. If you are a normal person living in the Philippines and you are earning minimum wage, or it could be less or it could be more, I'm going to put up right here, you can see what the Philippine minimum wage is. So basically it is, I took some notes, it's basically 285 pesos a day. And that's gross. Your bring home pay will be on average around 250 pesos a day, which is about $5.10 a day. Okay, so let's talk about some prices in comparison to a minimum wage earning job in the United States and what the Filipinos have to pay living here in the Philippines, and you can draw your own conclusions whether that is inexpensive to you or not. So I wanted to go with a few things. So one of them, let's go with rent. So everybody is basically subject to rent usually. Sometimes here, I think that we always talk about Filipinos having a sense of family. Families live together for a long time, and not only is that out of a sense of family, I think it's also out of a sense of necessity. It's necessary to share a house because it's so expensive. So let's talk about rent. So the average Filipino may pay around 3,000 pesos a month, which is about $70 a month. Wow, great deal, right? Okay, so in actuality, based on a minimum wage in the United States, your rent would be $840 a month here. So if you took the same percentage of pay that they're spending here from a minimum wage job, then in the States we'd be paying $840. So what got me thinking about this is we went out and bought a loaf of bread. So the loaf of bread was 50 pesos. The exchange right now is about 49 pesos for a dollar. So it's a little over a dollar. On average, in the States, maybe you're paying $1.50, a dollar, $2 a loaf of bread. So in the States, if you were making minimum wage and you were spending the same percentage on bread, then you'd be spending $14 on a loaf of bread. That made me think. I'm like, wow, like people in the United States, we look at these prices and we go, wow, that's a really great price. But on average, I mean, in the States, if you're making minimum wage, you're spending $14 on a loaf of bread. So some of the things that I came up with here is the staple food for the Philippines is rice. And it's around 45 pesos a kilo, and that's about 18.75 pesos per pound. So on average, they're spending about 7.5% of their income on a pound of rice, which is about $5.25 a pound for rice. I don't know the last time that you bought white rice in the United States. If you buy just the normal white rice, you're not buying basmati, or you're not buying one of the fancier jasmines, then you're probably paying on average around 99 cents a pound. So it's over 5 times as much here to buy rice if you're making minimum wage. I like pork chops, so I wrote down the per kilo. For a kilo of pork chops is 190 pesos. That's about 86 pesos a pound, which is 34% of the daily income of a Filipino, which makes that about $23.80 a pound for pork chops. Tell me what you would do if you went to Kroger, or you went to Ralph's, or you went to Walmart and wanted a pound of pork chops and they said it was going to be $23.80. We don't pay that for filet mignon. I mean, that's really, really super expensive. Another thing that I wanted to have is you may have your rent, but you're also going to pay electricity. Here, like some people live without a refrigerator. That's kind of a luxury, really, if you're making that little. But let's say on average you have a refrigerator, and you have your lights, and you're charging your cell phone or whatever, so that's your electric usage. That's going to cost you about 1,000 pesos a month. And so that 1,000 pesos a month is about 17.5% of your monthly income, and that's about $196 a month. That's just for a refrigerator and lights and charging a couple of little electronics. So $200 a month. That's my winter. That's my winter electricity. That means my heat pump is going full blast. I've got the TV on. I've got things running. I've got a computer running. I got all this stuff. And that's on average what I'm paying a month in the United States with all those things. I want to put up a statistic here, and it shows that Philippines on average has one of the highest electric rates in all of Asia. So that's pretty expensive stuff. I thought about public transportation. Most of the time, I think a Filipino who is earning minimum wage here is not going to be able to afford a car. They're most of the time going to have to take what's called a jeepney. So I'll show you. That's a jeepney right there, and you're kind of it's the cheapest mode of transportation here. There's also a tricycle, which is a little bit more expensive, and a taxi, which is probably the most expensive form of transportation here. But a jeepney ride is 8 pesos and 50 centavo per ride. So if you're going round trip to work, this doesn't include taking your kid with you or taking anyone else with you. That would be 17 pesos round trip, which is about 6.8% of your daily income in the Philippines making minimum wage. Now, in the States, if I'm basing this on a $7 an hour job, most of the time in the States, we're going to make over $7 an hour, and so I'm basing it on a take-home pay of $7 an hour, basically, or around. I'm actually basing it around $70 a day. You may make less than that, you may make more, but that's 6.8% of your daily income, which makes it round trip ride to work on a public bus $4.76. So that's kind of expensive. I know in Portland, maybe you're paying, if you buy a bus pass, you're paying about 75 cents or 80 cents a trip. In Los Angeles, maybe 10 years ago or 15 years or 12 years ago, it was about $1.25. But if you bought a bus pass, you get a discount. But either way you look at it, here in the Philippines, that's really pretty expensive, thing to do. So I just kind of wanted to get you guys' opinion. Like, a lot of us just think about the denomination of money in the country that we are living in. So if you look in the Philippines and you go, oh my gosh, rent is $70 a month, and I can ride a bus for 10 cents, and I can buy a whole meal, which is 20 pesos, 25, 30, let's say 30 pesos. I can buy a whole meal for 70 cents or whatever. Sounds great. But if you're here in the Philippines and you're earning money at a minimum wage job, or even lower, some people make lower, that's a lot of money. I want to get you guys' opinion. Tell me what you think about, the cost of living here. And if you ask me, that's the reason, like, there's a lot of people who squat here. So basically, there's an empty piece of land. They take whatever materials they can and they put up a structure, and that's their house. And they just stay there until somebody kicks them off. You can't afford a house. You can't afford a car. There's a lot of things that, even in the States, you make a minimum wage. You go out and buy you a beater for $500. You can't afford a car. You can't afford your rent. Generally, it's rough, but it's doable. And we're not paying, $14 a loaf of bread, So That's it. I just want to let you guys kind of give me your comments, tell me what you think, and we really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing to our videos. Go friend us on Facebook. Just spread the word. I know we're a small channel, but if you guys get the word out there and you like our videos, then everybody else is going to like them too. So we really appreciate it. This is from the Browns. We're Modigazzi the Browns. I don't know if you noticed, the name has changed. We're kind of playing with the name from Modigazzi Travels to Modigazzi the Browns. So we are Modigazzi and we are the Browns, and we really appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. So we'll see you next time. Bye. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're Modigazzi, we're living in an RV.